My name is Bart Croasmun. I am with Sulphurwell Church in Springville, Tennessee. Trek used to be something when it was in Salida that our church did years ago. One of the guys that got to go on one of those trips became one of our elders in our church, and he knew I have a passion for outdoors, and he's like, you should think about bringing Trek back. That was 6 years ago, and that's kind of how we got back into the swing of things. And I actually got to do it as Paul was our guide. From that, we have a regular of trying to get out there as often as we can. And for us, we have the rhythm of coming every other year. That's mainly because we're trying to get to New Mexico from Tennessee. I would make it our church camp if we lived closer. In other words, I would be there every year if it made more fiscal sense. This last year, we got to bring two groups. I was fortunate to do that again, a high school group and a college group. It was an awesome week. It really was. I think Trek did a good job of preparing us for the week before we went up, greeting us when we got there, to making us feel welcomed at the base camp, and to be able to just genuinely seem like you guys care about what our week's going to look like, getting to know us. Like, we're not just the next number of kids coming through for the week. That's something I noticed, is like all guides pitch in, not just the guides that you have. Of course, the guides that you're going to end up with do a little bit more with you specifically, but whenever we come to those meals at the base camp, you guys are all up there pitching in, and you're all willing to talk to us. That's part of the job, right? Is helping out with that. But what's not part of the job is making us feel welcome. That has to be genuine. Even if Mike or Paul tells you guys, make the groups feel welcome. Well, if you're not into it, or that's really not your thing, you can fake that. And I don't think that I've ever felt that was ever just put on. There was plenty to eat every single meal. I can still remember there wasn't a single time where we finished up where there wasn't somebody saying, somebody finished this, we've got some this or other. Good meals. Honestly, for what we were able to be able to do on the side of a mountain with limited, no microwaves, no ovens, and so everything was beyond expectation. Another thing I should also mention about food that I appreciate that you all do is that you pay attention and ask ahead of time if anybody's got any kind of special food allergies, so you can accommodate them. One of our girls on the college trip had a peanut allergy, and a very sensitive one, and you all took care to make sure her food was packaged separately so there was no contamination or anything like that for any concern for her health. And her also, she still had enough food to be able to do what she needed to do on the trip to do everything. So that was also another high point for us, knowing that you guys are looking out for those kids that out there, or adults that have those special needs like that because of food allergies. Gear was great. If we're not going to be camping year in and year out, or multiple times, it's good to know that you guys got the quality stuff that's required to be able to pack what you need to, from your stuff to group gear to food, all those things, from cooking gear to the packs to the tents, all of that, and pads for under your sleeping bag. Sleeping bags also, again, it's nice to know that all that stuff is just waiting there for you whenever you arrive as part of what you're doing with Trek. I've done it 3 years. I've always felt like our guides, they were knowledgeable in how to deal with, just their passion for the outdoors. That was evident and on display. That gives a sense of ease to, the adults that are with our group. The pouring into them spiritually that the Trek guides offer is invaluable. I haven't had that experience yet where it's not been more than ideal. Like, they just resonate with you guys, and you guys connect with them in such deep ways that they want you to become their next friend, and we had the Trek guide, which is awesome, a resource to have on trail to do some personal reflections with, but to be able to sit it in the evenings and kind of just be open, it's just something, spiritual, and being out in creation where you just kind of pull back all the veils, and your heart just kind of comes, and you guys' ability to resonate with that and understand that and move in and embrace that, it's life-giving. I love that you guys don't approach the week of spiritual development that it's intended for with cookie cutter answers or cookie cutter language that we're all supposed to be able to leave and speak better Christianese with. And it's just about, where are you seeing God show up in your life here? So when you go back to your reality, you can see it there. Absolutely. And you don't have to be an outdoor person like as your core, like you guys. It's in your blood, and it's infectious for those that don't have it in their blood. And there's nothing says I can't go do what you guys do in the mountains on my own, but it's worth the time that you guys put into all of the other things. I don't have to worry about those things. I can just trust that you guys are doing those things, and you guys are taking it serious. I'm sure that every church has somebody that could help structure some fundraising or whatever it may be to offset the cost of doing it. It's not that expensive, all things considered, what you guys offer, from food to gear to expertise on the trail, all those things. To me, it's very affordable from that sense of you get what you pay for type of approach to it. It's well worth the investment. And if there's anybody out there that's a donor that just wants to generally give to let you guys do scholarship type things with, I would highly recommend that. Most intense, fun, but yet real ways to where all the fluff just gets knocked off of it. Everybody leaves a little bit more chiseled in a good way. Go on the mountain. So when people talk about being on the mountain, you have a reference of your own experiences to bounce off of it.